Cat, and you read that right. The Village and Pillage update is officially available for both Minecraft Java Edition and Minecraft Bedrock. This is really exciting because this means there's a brand new update to explore. If you're on Java, this is the last 3 Bedrock updates combined. If you're on Bedrock, the 1.11 has just dropped, and a lot of people think this is just brand new villages, but it also contains some other features we'll be talking about in today's video, which I hope you all do will enjoy, letting you both know you can download this update and also explaining exactly what is inside it. So I hope you do all enjoy this video, like it if you do, but let's get straight into explaining exactly what's inside 1.11 for Bedrock, because 1.14 has a huge changelog, because of course it's the last year or so of Minecraft content, but Minecraft Bedrock has received that slowly, so a lot of the content on that changelog you already expect. What can you expect from this brand new 1.11 last phase of the Village and Pillage update, or most of the last phase for various reasons, but let's talk about exactly what's inside here, because it is kind of exciting, and the biggest parts are the world generation features. Villages have entirely changed, and by that I don't just mean like, oh yeah, look, this is a new type of plains village. I mean villages have entirely changed. Every type of village is now distinct from each other. Desert villages are separate from snow villages, which are separate from acacia villages, and also in the same way, villages are now entirely separate to each other. When you find villages in a plains biome, they're going to look something like this. Look how interesting and different all of the villages look like. However, if you find villagers in a savanna, like we have right here, you're going to see they look entirely different. Villagers now wear clothing appropriate to the biome that they were spawned into, so although you can transport them around from village to village, there are distinct now savanna villages, which are distinct from the ice villages, etc., which is a really cool update. The reason this is called the Village and Pillage update is because they've updated villages so hugely, not just in terms of how they visually look, because we can see, looking at this villager, that villager, and the buildings around them, all of the villages have seriously changed. It's exciting to look at, it's exciting to see, but also the functions are entirely different. So we tried to trade with this guy. You can see the trading interface. It's brand new. It's, as you can see, we've got a leveling system, which was previously behind the scenes. It's now out there in the open. This is affected by, of course, how the various, raids work on Java Edition and whatnot, but it's a really interesting feature where, like, oh yeah, there is now a proper level. You can see how close you are to the next one. You can see what trades you will eventually unlock. In this case, we can buy, what is that, like 4 apples for an emerald? I'm not sure I'm on board with that one, hugely, but you see the point. They're like, oh yeah, there are actually different functionalities with how you trade the villagers, and also there's different functions with how the villagers actually grow their villages, because you'll notice how pretty much every house, I mean besides this one, although this one has some emeralds in there, so take their emeralds and use it to buy some apples from them, because they deserve it, those darn apple overprices. But most houses, when you spot on the inside, they're going to contain either a skilling bench, like that brewing stand you just saw, or they're going to contain a bed of some form. Also, this house is just has a hole in it for some reason. But you can see as you look around, like, oh yeah, there is a bed in this house, because beds are now the way villagers reproduce. It used to be based on doors, which didn't make any sense, because have you ever thought to yourself, like, you know what, I was going to settle down my wife, but we just don't have enough doors in our house. All we need is more doors and then we'll do it. No, you need more bedrooms, so more beds equals more villagers. Keep that in mind if you make any fascist states. But more seriously, it's like, yeah, the village system has changed entirely, both with how you traded them, how the villagers grow themselves, how the villagers spawn all together. I mean, look how cool this guy looks. How, how every single function of the villagers has basically been changed, including the fact that some villagers will generate with these on their outskirts. So you can now find pillagers in the real life, in the flesh, in the real game, basically. It's a really interesting and exciting feature, which again, by itself, this is cool, right? Some villagers generate with these guys on their outskirts. There are pillagers, anti-villagers, if you will. Again, pillage and village, you're seeing why it's called that now. Wow, what a logical name, right? But these guys will now generate on the outskirts of villages, and that's a super interesting feature by itself. Like, oh yeah, you can go there and you can farm XP, you can get crossbows, you can get arrows, etc. And also, at the top of each of these, you're going to find yourself a chest. So again, which often can contain a crossbow, which is a really nice feature by itself. Like, everyone likes more potatoes in their life, right? However, you're also going to notice how there's a big crossbow wielding bannerman right here. This is the Pillager Captain. If this guy is somehow killed, because again, he's got the banner, everyone rallies around him, he's the kind of king, you'll get this bad omen effect. I really love the animation of it personally, but if you take this bad omen effect, because it will eventually wear off, or you can drink milk to get rid of it, but if you take this effect into the village, what you're going to trigger is something called a pillager raid. So that boss bar at the top there is now the game's 3rd official boss. There's kind of 2 mini bosses in the form of the Evoker and in the form of the Elder Guardian, but this is the game's 3rd official boss kind of battle that happens when you you go into a village where lots of these pillagers will come in and they'll raid the village. So you might ask, like, why would you want to do that? Why do you get rewarded for killing the big bad boss with a raid? And the simple answer is, like, it's kind of not a reward. It's kind of that, like, in exchange for, you know, you did some bad things happen, and what happens as a result is pillagers come in. And although the Iron Golem can defend it, it really comes down to you to save this village. You have to attack these guys, you have to finish them off, and that's a thing that's onto you to do. And once you do kill off them, you'll get a second brand new effect, which comes with this update. Again, I really like this one personally, because, oh, the Iron Golem did my job for me. But once we killed it, we'll get, and we've gone through all the waves, because of course, depending on the level of your effect, you're going to get different number of waves. But once you've killed all the waves, you'll get the Hero of the Village effect. For what it's worth, by the way, I would say the raids aren't necessarily boring things. You can get lots of good loot from these, and also they can contain lots of different enemies, including the brand new Ravager, by the way, but also including the old, you know, Woodland Mansion villagers. So there's a lot of variety in what can come. Any one of the Illagers, so including witches, can come here. That's why the image of the Illagers versus the Pillagers makes sense, because there is a big war. Will villagers win with you on their side, or will the Illagers win? I mean, that's the big debate you've got to work out. Here is the big boy himself. He has so much health, and he can destroy you if you don't have armor. You need to watch out for this Illager beast. You know, there's a reason he's called the Destroyer, or was called the Destroyer. Like, basically, watch out for this guy right here. He can absorb a lot of hits. I mean, I'm giving him fully drawn crossbows here, and he's still just kind of standing there like, I don't really care. Obviously, we're in creative, so he's not coming after us. But if he did, you can imagine just how screwed we would be. But yeah, once you'll get this second brand new effect called Hero of the Village, and this allows you deep discounts on the villagers' wares. They're really nice because you save their village. They'll give you only, you know, like they'll give you a little discount on trades that you'd otherwise have to do, which is super nice of them. Basically, it's them being grateful. You saved us, now you get slightly discounted rates. We're still gonna rip you off because we're villagers, and that's just how we live our lives. I'm being serious looking at you guys like, yeah, I'm gonna rip you off entirely, but not quite so bad as we did previously. Actually, wait, one emerald for an enchanted sword is pretty good. But you see the idea of like, oh yeah, level your villagers, then protect them from a raid, and then they'll love you. It's a really interesting concept. I really look forward to doing this in survival. I haven't done this, you know, just yet on my Let's Play world, so that's a thing we'll probably do for the first time later today. Super exciting feature, but it's not the only thing in 1.11. Like I said, new villagers are a huge change. This is a big thing for 1.11, but it's not the only features in this update, so let's talk about the rest. You can also now find brand new seeds in the seed picker, including the one which has been in this video the entire time. Whoa. Because there's also a brand new biome in this update. This also requires you to generate in a brand new world. Obviously, you can't find these in existing worlds unless you go to a part which you haven't explored yet, but you can now find bamboo jungles. And although, for the most part, these aren't usually that exciting, for the most part, they're like fairly interspread, you can find some impressive bits with bamboo forest. I posted the seed for a long time ago if you want to find some bamboo forest. It's also available on the seed picker, but it's kind of exciting. Like, hey, look at this. There's some bamboo found in my forest. So now you don't have to fish for it or kill pandas, because killing pandas makes you a monster. No longer do you need to be a monster. Instead, you can just find it around, which I think is a super handy feature. However, it's not just this and that and new villagers and also bamboo. We also have some features which are kind of unrelated to both, because obviously all the new crafting tables are worth mentioning as like, hey, lots of those things exist. That's a thing you should work into your new routine. However, there's also features entirely separate to that, because 1.11 will now officially contain for the first time some of these sweet berry bushes. You need to find them in spruce biomes, but as long as you generate any new spruce biome, you should be able to find these. And then once you've got a single one of them, you can then plant it and grow more and do stuff with that. These are an interesting food source by themselves, and it's a whole quirky thing. You can actually eat them in creative sometimes, which I think is kind of interesting. So fun facts of Toy Cat right there. Also, fun fact I didn't realize till just now, the sweet berry bush technically counts as a separate item to the sweet berry, despite the fact that they do the same thing. So sweet berry bush, you can't eat in creative, but the sweet berries, you totally can. Like, you can see there's a size difference. I think that's interesting. Maybe you do too. Also, we have bells now, so make sure you hit that bell to celebrate bells being added to Minecraft. Had to do it, I'm sorry, but bells are a new thing. Obviously, to do with the pillager raids. It's an exciting thing. They ring the bell, it's fun, etc. Then we've got ourselves the scaffolding. So this is scaffolding over here. This has been around since obviously 1.8, if I'm not mistaken, but they actually now finally buffed it to be as good as it is on the Java, which also just came out today. And look how cool this is. Like, hey, what was previously 4 wide is now 6 out. That makes a huge difference. 50% longer you can go. It makes scaffolding even more useful. I loved the block before, and now I love it so much more. So that's some nice rhyming. That also is some true stuff. And also keep in mind that they've changed even more textures. I don't know why they didn't change them all in one go, but they did list that stained glass was one of the most recent changes. So you can see stained glass now looks different. Oh, as a fun fact, rainbow beacons don't work on Bedrock. That's why this looks like this. So you can still do this on Java. You can still do this elsewhere. But just as a fun little quirky thing, you can see the stained glass itself has changed. This is one of the easiest ways to see lots of stained glass in one place. And it's super nice. It's pleasing. It's good. Again, for the most part, I like the new textures. I think the way they were handled was a bit weird. I think we can all agree with that. But yeah, new textures now fully rolled out to Minecraft Bedrock. So also, now the Wandering Trader is a real mob that actually exists as opposed to one that floats in the sky. That's kind of exciting in my opinion. Again, now it's a proper way to get lots of renewable resources we previously couldn't. Also, it's worth noting that, again, there's all those new crafting tables, as well as barrels, as well as grindstones, as well as cartography tables. Also, it's worth noting that there are new achievements. There's a lot of them. If you go to the achievements menu, you'll see how there's actually 8 brand new achievements, which is one of the most we've seen in a single update. So you can see Killer, Pillager, Captain. 0% of people have done this. 0.01 have rang the bell with a hostile enemy in the village. 0% have triggered a pillager raid. 0.01% have used a grindstone to get experience from an enchanted item. Buy low, sell high, what a fun thing. Defeat a ravager and befriend 20 stray cats. So yeah, you basically get the point. Like, we got new achievements. These are a little harder than normal, but again, we'll do them tonight. It'll be fun. And we also have roaming skin choice being a thing now. So if you check your skins, it'll say usable cross-platform. If you have a skin from a skin pack, you can use it on any platform. The reason you can't use any skin is because of licenses with Xbox and Nintendo not to put user content on there, because otherwise you could just make yourself a giant, I don't know, like a giant dick or something, and you know that would cause issues, as you can imagine. Or you could be Mario, or you could be whatever else, and basically that's a thing you're not allowed to do. But if you do have a skin, it will roam between platforms, which is surprisingly handy, at least for someone like me who wants to be a cat all the time. Like, I'm always the ocelot. This is just what people recognize me as, apparently. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Also, lecterns now finally emit redstone signals. That's right, if you put a redstone comparator behind a book, you can now officially light TNT using a book. That's right, reading can cause explosions now, which is the most exciting thing in a Minecraft update, in my opinion. We have a bunch of other bug fixes which are important. I think things like the hopper, things like I can now do a mining ice for 90 minutes and actually benefit from my efficiency. There's lots of tiny bug fixes. You should read the changelog if you want to see all of them, or just see it scroll past real fast. But the long story short on this update is it's a pretty nice and exciting one. It's obviously smaller than Java's, because Java built up a lot of features over several updates, but there's a lot of brand new village and pillage features you can play with today, and I hope this video helped explain exactly what the update was and exactly what you can play around with. Oh, one last thing, just because you might notice this, it's not really a feature, but it is a change. They've made the menus now different. If you look in the settings, for instance, there's a lot, it's kind of dark as a background. This is accessibility. It's to allow people who don't see contrast so well, or see really well with contrast. You get the point. Color blindness makes it easier to see menu choices from one another. So, fun facts of Toycat, now you know, or at least I hope you know. And I hope you all enjoyed today's video where you did learn that. If you did, you can like this video and let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot. Lets know you do like these update out videos, letting you know what's in an update, why you should care, and all the exciting stuff like that. You can share it if you really liked it, and you can subscribe if you're new around Tix. I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if subscribed, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I guess I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.